What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jesus Conde, and today we're going to be working on this painting. It's completely out of the blue, I know. It's a really weird topic that, that we're gonna be working on. And I wanted to do something more artistic, less, less concept arty, and more like what I do in work. It's more like free, inspired, kind of out of nowhere kind of a painting that I wanted to explore. In this case, it's gonna be this girl that is leaning towards, and it's gonna have an eye coming out of the hand. And my first thought was that she was looking at herself in a mirror or something like that. But the idea is gonna be changing as. But the main concept is that she's leaning towards with the hand on her chest, and that is basically it for the concept and the idea. Now, how it end up, that's gonna be completely surprise. Honestly, I don't know when I'm going to go with it. Obviously, I'm using reference. The picture that I'm using has some nudity, so I didn't want to share it. I tried to put it at one side, covering some of the areas where the nudity was, but I wasn't sure to share that, honestly. I didn't want to get my video turned down or something. Of course, as always, I'm just sharing this in case you can learn something about this quick video and painting dailies kind of a thing that I do. Maybe you can pick up something here and there about the way I do things, or the way I lay out things, or even the way I use my tools. So as you can see, I use just a simple drawing pencil tool that I created myself. If you want it, there's a video in my YouTube channel. You can just write pencil brush Jesus Conde, and you will find that video pretty quickly. It's very simple to do. It's not that hard, honestly. And I think I also have the link there to download it. I don't remember, to be honest, but I think it's there. And I'm also using some brushes that I've been collecting here and then. I cannot share those because they're not mine. But there's a lot of color tease brushes, specifically the square one. The square one that has a really painterly feel. I'm also using a Michael Adams brushes in some areas, especially one that has like a graphite, or more like a drawing block kind of a texture to it. So that's all I can say about brushes, although they are not really that important. Sometimes I just change them or go back to the default one from Photoshop. To be honest, it's not really, other than this that I wanted to look kind of painterly, kind of traditional looking. There's no other reason for using those. Also, for my comic book, I used this one pretty much the entire time for the drawings. And I wanted to do a kind of I don't know, tentacles in the back, but I'm not completely sure of what to do, to be honest. And this is a process that this is gonna take several days to do. I'm trying not to stress myself. This is completely for fun, and as I said, trying to do something that other people can feel either inspired or wanting to do their own painting. So the idea will be that this girl has this eye coming out of the palm of her hand. At the beginning, I wanted to do it at her chest, but then I found this picture where she has a hand on the palm of the hand, and I'm basically just trying to do something like that. Here I'm modifying a brush from the Michael Adams brushes, and I just added it to my panel of the tool presets. because I wanted to have it accessible with those same settings all the time, which is very helpful. For when you want to do something very repeatedly, or you want to keep something, it's a very easy way to just have that at hand. That works better when you're working with something like my comic, for example. I was always having to change the size of the brush to fit the same, and like it's a very specific size of a brush that I needed. And the first way to make that quick is to just have it on a paper, written down the size that I brush that I had to have. And I was constantly just looking at that paper to check if I was using the size correctly, until I thought myself, there has to be a better way to do this. It's gonna be like constantly checking on to see if I have the right amount in the size of the brush. So I found that if you use the tool presets, you can pretty much, you have the settings there, and it will always be that. You can actually have them keep the color that you want. So for some reason, if you need that, I don't think I'll ever use that option. But if you ever think you have to have the same color always for that specific brush for some reason, then you can pretty much do that and have the color be included on the settings. So every time you grab that brush, it's gonna have that color. I'm not sure why somebody want that, but I'm sure somebody definitely could find a reason for it. Here I'm starting to add something to this person, like dress. She's basically undressing herself to see this thing that have on her hand and chest. Maybe I should have something coming out also from her chest or something like that. I'm not completely sure what to do. And that could be interesting. Also, I wanted to block the shape of her torso and up, like from the back of her head. I wanted to pop up basically from the background. So I added this black strip on the background, just to have her be very contrasty against it. I'm not completely sure if it works, to be honest, but I was gonna go with it and see what happened, because I do like the contrast of having her stand out like that. So I was just trying to see where it will take me to have something like this, to have something so dark in the back of her. Then I was saying, well, the darkness that she has against her back could be a reflection of the dress, and she's taking the dress off or something. So maybe that could be some kind of a parallel or like a reason for that darkness. And then I was like, yeah, but it doesn't look natural. There's just one black strip coming from the top. So I started to add some on the sides. Maybe that will make it feel more natural somehow, like she was on a natural place, like outdoors or something. And it just turns out that everything around her is just pitch black. And yeah, then I thought, well, let's say we took a picture of this girl sitting in the wild, like if we had a photo shoot, and we took a picture and we were using a flash. You will have this like a transition from foreground to background, from really bright to dark, something like that. So I thought, well, that's an interesting way of looking at it. So I thought we could work with that. Here I'm trying to add some more specific lines where the shadow breaks from light to dark. So we're gonna use that later when we're painting more properly. And then I wanted to just add just a tiny bit of color to kind of have a base for later when I do the more progress on the coloring of this painting. other than that, is basically, this is all the progress that I did today, and I just hope you enjoy it. I added color dynamics to it, where I put, like, I don't know if you can see it down in the left on the brushes settings. I put 5% to everything, 5%, 5%, 5%. Not the background jitter and the purity, just the hue, saturation, and brightness jitter on the color dynamics of the brush. So that will make that the brush is gonna change colors a tiny bit. If you have the apply per tip deactivated, if you have it activated, you can see that setting right there on the top of that panel. If you have deactivated the apply per tip, every time you make a brush stroke, it will change the color 5% in all those settings. So that's a huge help to have some variation on your colors. And this is pretty much it, the progress for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you like this idea and the progress, small progress I did with it today. So see you tomorrow, guys, or whenever I upload a next video.